I was right the first time. What the bloody hell have I done wrong here? Something's not right. Should be easier than this.
From the desert's hot embrace to the cool of eucalyptus shade, no fence holds back the spirit of the path we bravely made. 10 adventures we won't be tamed, blazing trails where wildfires.
Jack Campers, welcome back to 10 Adventures, and today we're doing our third mod for the Prado before our big trip. So what are we doing today? Well, in our last episode we installed the drop fridge slide, and it's secure as I think this is going to be. I'm still a little bit worried about things bouncing around. So I mentioned a little while ago we were going to install some Kaon stuff. We're doing the cargo barrier. A couple of things before we start the install. Just want to say a big thank you to Roof Racks Galore in Epping for looking after me. They used to be known as Roof Rack Super Centre. If you've watched my roof load capacity video from way back, they installed the roof rack on the car. And this time they've helped me organise getting some Kaon gear in. Basically just saved me the shipping cost from Kaon Direct. Unfortunately, not all has gone to plan. You see, I didn't just order the cargo barrier. I also ordered the molly panels. And I really, really wanted the molly panels. Kaon sent them some molly panels. They were not Prado molly panels. They sent them back. That was a month ago. I picked up the cargo barrier today because I want to get that in before we go away. But molly panels, as yet, a no-show. If they arrive between now and next weekend when we leave, which we'll probably be back from that by the time this airs, but if it arrives between now and then, I will be able to do, I'll add the installation of those onto this, which, to be fair, might even be a good look for people that have got the cargo barrier and want to know how they go about fitting the molly panels after they've fitted it all. Do we have to pull everything out and start again? I won't know until I get them. But anyway, could be a bit of fun. Anyway, bit disappointing, and unfortunately the delay is all at Kaon's end. I really wanted to stick with Kaon. There is another company out there, another Australian company, but I think they're getting their stuff machined overseas that do some similar gear. But I want to stick with Kaon. Just hopefully they get their shipping stuff sorted out. It's been a while. There was a cyclone in between there, so I don't have an issue with that. But anyway, let's get this box open and see what we need to get this fitted. I believe we're only going to need a trim removal tool and some basic tools to get this in. Maybe a screwdriver, maybe a 8mm socket. We'll see. So the beauty of this kit is it does come with all mounting hardware you need. There's nothing extra that you need to purchase to get this in. It's also quite light. Now there is a caveat with this unit. It does say very clearly, if you're buying this on the Kaon website, if you've got the VX, the GXL or the Kakadu, even if you've removed your back seats, you do need to buy the 7-seat variant. I nearly bought the 5-seat variant and I read the fine print. That will only fit the GX. There is a difference in the way that the seat height, backs and everything else are in the GX versus the GXL. I don't know why, but apparently that's the case. So it does say very clearly, even if you've removed your seats, you do have to get the 7-seat version. Well, that basically is where you mount the unit using the headrests, or the 2 steel pins from your headrests to mount into here, and that holds the back of the unit. So I've got 2 of those. Adjustable ceiling bracket. 1. And 2, mandatory bumper sticker. And if I'm not mistaken, this is what we sit under our third row grip handles. That may be the difference, that the third row doesn't have those grip handles. And so you need something different to fix them. So basically these fix to where your Jesus bars, as I like to call them, are sitting. Okay, so now that I've got everything out, I was going to have a quick read of the instructions so I point you guys in the right direction. It looks all to be fairly straightforward. I will say, compared to the fitting instructions I got from Ocam on the drawers, much clearer. All right, so reading through the manual, I can answer the question I asked at the very beginning. Is it going to be easy just to pop the molly panels in straight off after installing this? The answer is no, because they actually go under the brackets for the cargo barrier. So when it does come, if those molly panels arrive this week, I'm literally going to have to undo everything I do today to put the molly panels in. I'm actually not that worried by doing that. It's a very simple, very straightforward assembly process. All I'm going to need is my trim removal tools again, and then I'm just going to need, I think, an M8. I think a 8 or a 10 millimeter socket. So fortunately I've got some of them ready to go. I'm going to grab some tools and then I'll show you the next step as I get back into the car. You do need to be in the back of the car for this, and unfortunately, because I got the drawers in here already, I'm going to be quite short on space. Anyway, let's see how we go. Okay, so it's quite cramped in here. We'll say fridge drawer that I installed the other day. Quite a solid bit of kit. It's taken my full weight. So basically what we want to do is these two pieces here, these are just going to pop off when I get this trim tool in. Matter of fact, not even need the trim removal tool. You can probably do it with your fingernails. But definitely easier with them. Now, I will say that there's not a lot of room to work with in there, so my socket set is potentially going to be a problem. So there's not a lot of room around that to try and get in there. So that's probably going to be my hardest bit with this. This is going to be the same on both sides. That sounds going to be right. So I think I'm going to be able to have to use a spanner because I've lost my 10 mil drill bit. Well, at least the 10 mil drill bit that I can get into that. My standard one is a lot wider than that, and I'm going to really struggle. So I'm going to get this side undone, and we'll see how we go with doing the other side. And of course now I've got the sun right in my eyes. Okay, that seems to be working. But unfortunately still too tight to do with my fingers. I'm going to get this one out and we'll start on the next side. Just as a note, while you're doing this, do try to avoid touching the ceiling of your car too much. Mine's already getting a bit dirty, but oil from your hands seeps into this carpet lining pretty strongly. Okay, with those off, it's time to mount these brackets. Now, there's a direction that these need to go. They're going to mount towards the ceiling like so, and you want the side with the riv nut, my favourite tool, towards your back seats. So this is going to sit in like so. I hope you can see that. This is a really awkward filming position, I can tell you. But that's going to go in like that. Pretty easy. Just want to make sure that when I go to put it in, which parts I'm using. You, I believe, can use the original OEM bolts, which you should if you're going to put your, if you're going to put the handle back in. Make sure you get it round the right way. Now, if you've got a small enough drill bit, this would definitely be much easier than the way I'm doing it. But when you're as prone as I am to losing things, when you go to put these back in, you'll actually notice just here there's an arrow pointing up. That's the direction that is up for this unit, and you'll have a bit of pink on the other side. Yours may not be that colour pink, but that's what mine was. But the up is the main thing you want to note. Make sure you put it back in that way. There will be a reason the Toyota have that, so I'm not going to mess with it. That's the way it was. Alright, so that's that one in. Now I'm going to do the other side. Fun and games. On the upside, this is probably the most awkward bit to do when you've got drawers in the back of your car. And even worse if you've got the fridge slide that I put in last week, which I did because I didn't know if this was actually going to arrive in time. That's quite uncomfortable to sit on. It's got some quite sharp bits as well, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm going to go and do the other one. We'll get these both in, and we'll move on to the next step. All right, so that's probably the most difficult bit of the whole install in, he says. I'm just going to go with that's the most difficult bit. Let's just leave it at that. Next thing I need to do is take the headrests off the back seats and connect these brackets on. So these are going to sit with this captive nut is going to sit facing the back of the vehicle. Now I've got a small challenge. On the back seats, because we have the dogs in there, I have a dog seat cover, and that hooks on to the headrests. So this won't be a problem for most of you, but I've got to sort of wangle this around to make sure that I can still reattach the dog seat covers and still have it removable when I need to carry other passengers and we're not travelling with the dogs. I don't like to make things easy for myself. Let me show you what I mean. So any of you with dogs will be very familiar with this sort of setup. This is actually a really great little dog seat that we got from Amazon. It's actually a hard bottom, so the dogs can get right up next to the back, next to the back of the driver's seats and not fall into the footwell, which when we put our water tank in, is going to work really well. I think we paid about $75 for this. It's waterproof. Yeah, it's actually a really quality bit of kit, I've got to tell you. Anyway, as you can see up here, I've got this catch here, which I'll just pop it off at this point. If I can get that off. There we go. So when I put this bracket in, I'm still going to want to be able to try and do this up. And I reckon that's going to cause me a little bit of a challenge. Anyway, let's just fit it to number one. We'll drop it back in to see how we go. So to do this, pretty simple. Just take your bracket, making sure that the captive nut is towards the back, and just slot that on like so. All right, so the idea here, I'm trying to do this one hand, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Let's just drop our seat back in. We should have done it from the other side. All right. So that just slots in. We'll get to the first capture point. That goes to the bottom. Okay, so the next part of the instructions is to attach these mounts with the adjustable ends here. These here go are going to be mounted to the roof panels at the top. Got the wrong side for this one. Let's grab this side. So these will mount up to the top there, and this just means we can adjust back and forward depending on where we're sitting with the back seat. So if you've got your back seats far forward towards the front seats, you can pull this forward. If you're back, like I am, you can go all the way back. So it's a little bit adjustable, depending on where you want to have your seats. And again, with that little bit of flex at the bottom, it's not going to be completely rigid, but it's going to be pretty close. So the next part of the instructions is to actually fit these to the frame. So the instructions basically state that the frame you've got right angle bends around the outside. Those actually go towards the interior of the car with the flat at the back here. So the warning labels are clearly facing you when you open the back of the car. So we're just going to take our unit here, and they're just going to mount on like so. There are a couple of bolts in here to do that. I'll run you through a couple of the bits and pieces we've got in here. We've got some hand turning bolts. These are to go at the top. When we attach this part to the top, we just pop that through and tighten into the roof mounts. We've then got some, if I don't lose it, we've then got some standard M8 bolts, and these are going to bolt into, not that bit, sorry, those are the M10 bolts. They're what bolt into the back of the seat that we just put in. And then we have some M6 bolts, and these are what we bolt these pieces to the frame. So I'm going to bolt these on now, and we'll come back to you. When you do these, don't do them too tight. We'll tighten them up once we get it in position. The idea is basically we just want to be able to adjust things when we get it into place. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is put this roughly into position. Now, where I've got you guys sitting is going to make that quite difficult. So let's turn you around. Okay, so essentially we're just going to lift this up. As you can see, this is quite a light unit. I've messed up. Put these on the wrong way around. So ignore everything I just told you. Okay, now that I've undone my stuff up, all we're going to do I was right the first time. What the bloody hell have I done wrong here? Something's not right. Should be easier than this. Okay, so the idea is these are going to go into these sockets here, and that's going to get mounted to the roof on each side. Then we're going to take our M8 bolts or M10 bolts and washers, and they're going to go into the bottom of the rack here and mount into the back of these brackets that we mounted to the car seats. Okay, so I'm actually going to try doing this from this side, which is not going to be super easy. But I can say that I think it's just that I need to have this angled more towards the front of the vehicle than what I had, and it should fit. So, grab both my bolts. Let's just see how we go. That's one side done. I've gone into very back. I'm trying to do this left-handed. It's not going all that well for me. Okay. This should be easier than this, but you know, then I've got to remember who's doing the job. All right, time to jump back in the car and do the bottom bits. Anyway, for the last bit, you're going to want a 6mm Allen key and just do it into these bottom pieces here. Just do it finger tight to begin with, and then we're going to go around and tighten everything up. All right, that's in. I swear that should have been easier. But yeah, this is who's doing the job, right? All right. Let's give you a bit of a look over how it sits. All right, so after all that, we're done. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Look, now that it's in, I'm actually really impressed with it, but yeah, it just took a little more work than I thought it should have. Anyway, thanks for watching. As always, don't forget to subscribe. Appreciate it. It keeps the channel going. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the Flinders Ranges next time. See you then.
Mountains high, but we ain't scared. Every bump in a road that's endless, where the brave and the wild are paired. From the desert's hot embrace to the cool of eucalyptus shade, no fence holds back the spirit of the path we bravely made. Ten adventures we won't be tamed, blazing trails where wildfires reign. Prado's roar in the outback's heart, living free from the very start. From the very start.
I hate being this unfit. Anyway, just an excuse to get out and do this more often, eh?